it goes. Everybody watch out and look up. It's Keep Up. It's stillvinsane, and welcome with the rest of the Keep Up crew. Let's get into some motherfucking shout-outs.
You got nothing on...
It's time for some motherfucking shout-outs.
Here we go. Go. Carl Hill, the Black Expat. I've been on his show a few times. We have a show together, and we're actually working on some different shit, to be honest. He has someone else that's in the podcast world that he is I think he's your roommate still, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
They're roommates, they're compadres, they're business owners, they're business partners. I'm a big fan of him as well. Give us your shout out, Carl.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Patrick, also known as Prolific on Instagram, the in-house bartender. He launched during the COVID. He launched the in-house bartending service where he brings amazing bartending service right into your house, always from his house, but on Zoom. Again, dope black person making amazing black cocktails for black people.
That's right. Patrick. He really is. He makes delicious stuff, and he's a funny dude. So great shout out. Cool. So let's get into some viral news and some politics.
What the fuck happened?
All right. Super Bowl. So Tom Brady's been a part of, obviously, 10 Super Bowls, and some of them were called Super Bowl LIV, which was pretty convenient. But now we got to let him live. So Super Bowl LIV, we got to let the homie live. And although I feel that this is just my personal opinion, sorry that I'm like putting this out there before we get into the Super Bowl analysis. I feel like he cheated the first 3 championships. I think I still feel Vinatieri won that. I still feel Spygate. If you fucking record someone's practice, their defense, I still feel like that's cheating. Know what plays they're gonna run. Like Joey Porter said it, and they drowned him out, and they just like pretty much blacklisted him because Tom Brady is the NFL. As a Jet fan, I've seen the refs. I've seen personally the refs go for Tom Brady, and I'm sure many teams have done that before. But even with all that said, 10 championships is still really hard to get. 7 is really hard to get. I don't think he's the GOAT, but I don't really have a strong argument for it anymore. When someone says it, I really can't say anything. Unless they really want to get into like a nuanced debate with me, that's fine. But like on the surface, it's true. He's the GOAT.
I mean, well, I think when you come to the GOAT conversation, similar to Michael and LeBron, right, and Kobe, but specifically with football, I think it's easy to say Tom Brady isn't a GOAT, isn't the GOAT, because he doesn't physically look like the kind of person you want to put at like a football player. You want them to be a physical, not necessarily, I hate the word specimen, but a physically gifted person that revolutionizes the game of football. I don't think in any of his championships, except maybe this one and the one he lost to Randy Moss, I don't think Tom Brady was the most standout athlete in any Super Bowl that he played. Like even though he got MVP today, I think Gronkowski deserved an MVP because he actually got open to catch those touchdown passes. While Brady had 3 touchdowns, like he has to throw the ball, but Gronkowski was out there making plays and more than that. So I think he's the GOAT when it comes to, I think it's different. Winning, he's the best winner. Similar to basketball, the best winner was Bill Russell, right? The greatest athlete, arguably, I would still say is Michael Jordan. I think LeBron James is a stronger athlete than Michael Jordan. I think in terms of athleticism and just revolutionizing the game and the things that he could physically do on the court, I think Michael Jordan could do more things than LeBron James could do, just because he was more agile than LeBron James ever has been in his entire career, and his jump shot was just effortless. So again, back to Tom Brady. I think he's not my GOAT. I think Lawrence Taylor, if you actually go back and look at film, is the greatest football player and the greatest athlete we've ever seen. Anyone who played against him feared him. I don't think anybody fears Tom Brady. I think they fear the impact he has on the game, but him as a player is like, no, we need to guard his weapons. Like it was Julian Edelman. He's always somehow open for Tom Brady. Tom Brady finds him, but Julian Edelman has to get open. So I think he's an amazing player. He is the greatest quarterback of all time, not the greatest thrower of the football. That's Aaron Rodgers, and maybe soon Patrick Mahomes, because he was throwing from the ground basically and almost threw 2 touchdowns that way. But yeah, I think I can understand people don't call Tom Brady the GOAT don't view him as the GOAT because he's not the greatest athlete that football has ever seen.
I can see that. I disagree that LeBron is not a better athlete than Michael Jordan. I do agree that Michael Jordan did more with less. I do agree. And same thing with Kobe. I think Kobe had a less of an athletic build. Like LeBron pretty much was born that way. He was pretty much born an Adonis. And so a lot of people, especially when he was dealing with Detroit early in his career, saying that with MJ, he had that muscle that Michael Jordan didn't have going against the bad boys. He already had that brute strength, and people were just puzzled of like why he couldn't just bulldoze fucking Rip Hamilton and Ben Wallace down. So, like, that was confusing. Like, Michael Jordan, you understood. Like, Scottie Pippen, all of those wartime stories, they were all bloodied and shit like that. You understood that he needed to beef up. He needed to get in the fucking weight room. So then Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing never went to the weight room. Carmelo Anthony never went to the weight room. Whatever. We're still divvying off the basketball. I'm bad. But anyway, that's why it's hard for me, because the dude just kept winning. No matter even if it's cheating, there's 30 other teams out there. There's like, 29 NFL teams, I think.
Yeah, everybody's cheating.
That's what I'm saying. So if I was on the other side, if I was a Patriots fan, they just got caught. It's not like my Jets don't cheat. It's not like nobody else cheats. As a matter of fact, Mangini was cheating when he was with the Patriots, and that's why he knew. That's exactly why he knew how the cheating was going down. So, and I'm a Yankee fan. My Yankees have done steroids mad times. You know what I'm saying?
Poor Roger Clemens didn't even make the Hall of Fame because of the time he was juicing. Unlike Barry Bonds, who never got caught. But here's what I will say.
How did he get caught? Whoa. He admitted it in a grand jury testimony. That is getting caught.
Barry Bonds did that? I didn't read that.
The freaking bomb on his elbow. Yeah, he said that he thought it was like pine something. He thought it was.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. That's how little I cared about baseball after Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. But
sports is very regional for you, I see.
Sammy Sosa. Well, that isn't Sammy. But hear me out. To be fair, when I came home from school, that's the only thing that was on TV was Cubs games. And I like Tom Maddox. What was his name? Brett Maddox, Greg Maddox, and Tom Glavine. I like
that was a good example of a non-athlete. Both of them actually non-athlete. Yeah. Chicks dig the long ball.
Pedro Martinez, those people.
Anyway, back to football. I agree with you.
Football.
Patrick Mahomes is more talented than Tom Brady, but you're right. Tom Brady did more with less.
Pretty much most quarterbacks are more that's the thing.
You're absolutely
right. Why you can't be you can be the GOAT, I guess, if you like. I don't know. He just doesn't stand out as the person that people want. Like, I don't want to be a Tom Brady style quarterback. I want to be an Aaron Rodgers style quarterback that can do a little bit more with less, if you will. I think Tom Brady depended a lot upon systems. And say what you will, Bill Belichick, the Buccaneers still had a system for him. They had a great defense, and he was able to implement the same system that Bill Belichick used for his offense, and having Gronkowski that worked. Like, if you notice in the Super Bowl, who did he throw to the most often? Gronkowski and AB.
But he also convinced those guys to get there. He also came to camp earlier than most quarterbacks did throughout the whole pandemic.
That's because he old. And like, it has hard
you're right. And he knew his limitations, and you got to be impressed with that. Not you.
Okay.
You're already impressed.
I'm not saying he's not the GOAT. I'm just saying that I can understand other people's perception of it. I think he is the greatest quarterback of all time. I will give him that, and the greatest achiever in football of all time. But I can make a better argument for Lawrence Taylor being the greatest football player of all time at his position and beyond that.
I go with rings, accomplishments, and he's similar to my already GOAT is Peyton Manning. Again, I don't have a strong argument for that anymore because Tom Brady has all his records now, and Tom Brady has 7 rings to 2. Even 7 out of 10 is better than 2 out of 3 that Manning did.
I think Peyton went 2 and 4.
And the fact that Dungy got outdone by Belichick the whole time that they were like rivals. That shit speaks volumes. And do I think that Dan Marino, do I think that Patrick Mahomes, do I think that John Elway are more talented? Do I think that if they were in the same system, would they thrive the best? No, because the thing with Brady, I think benefited him was the limitations. Now that I'm looking hindsight, I think the fact that he did have those limitations helped him, benefited him, because with someone like Aaron Rodgers, for instance, you say to yourself, you get too comfortable. You go, oh, well, his arm will save us. Oh, well, we don't really need to like go after the biggest receiver. We'll just draft one because, his arm will save us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh no, he'll just double down. He'll just double check. He'll just bail us out. Oh no, Belichick never did that with Brady. He always created safety nets. And you mentioned Randy Moss. I just never got somebody like Randy Moss. The best receiver I've ever seen was Brandon Marshall. You know what I'm saying? So they put things in front of Tom Brady to succeed. They didn't do that with Geno Smith. I never liked Geno Smith. They didn't do that with Sanchez. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, whether they cheated or not, they did what it took to win. And I can't fault them for it anymore. The NFL let them get away with that bullshit. What am I going to do? Cry about it for like the rest of my life? No, like that shit happened. The NFL is pretty much like the WWE now. They fix the shit out of it. But it's still entertaining and it's still fun.
I think the two worst cheating teams of all time, the Bears and the New York Jets. Even though that's it. I'm sure they cheat, but they're just the worst cheaters ever. They sit at the front of the classroom and cheat.
What was your favorite halftime? What did you think about the weekend's halftime performance? Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely turned his channel a few times, but his teeth look weird. He shouldn't have made those faces. There was something going on with his teeth. I mean, he can. I like that he actually sang. A lot of performers, as we know, don't do that.
Me too.
And his imperfections came out through singing, which I think just made him more relatable to the crowd. He tries to do a little Michael Jackson thing. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, so I'm really messing with that. It's like, get the kicks right, wear flooded pants. Like, don't be doing it if you're not going to do it all the time.
Oh, shit.
But, like,
a little Gary Bill shade over there.
Yeah, like, I need you to go all out. If you're going to do that, just do that. Be Billie Jean, something. No, but, I mean, it was, considering it's a pandemic and they wanted to keep it as safe as possible, I understand the limitations he was put under. So I'm like, I'm not going to really judge it that harshly. I think it was great. I think it was not great. It was a good performance. And for the times we're in, he did the best that he could do. Would I watch it again? Nah. But I would give him another chance to do another one when it's not pandemic frenzy over there.
I feel you. I've seen him about 3 or 4 times. I wasn't a fan of him in the beginning when he was doing all the drug singing, the drug R&B. I'm fucking bitches often. I'm taking Molly and I'm sitting near a pool.
Those are great songs.
They're all right to me. I like it when he went more pop. I thought that he was more, and I actually do think he is the closest to Michael Jackson. Not like dancing, not like, entertainment wise, nothing like that. But as far as like voice, like I think like
vocally, yeah.
He did that Dirty Diana rendition a few years ago, and Annie, Are You Okay, I believe. He definitely sounds like him. I totally agree with you about the limitations. He did the best he could with that, or his team did the best they could with that. And shout out to Rock Nation. They coordinate that as well. They're going to do the next 5, I believe, coordinations of the Super Bowl halftime performance. And I agree with you. I definitely like voices better. I like talent better. Not that J-Lo is not talented. We discussed that in the pre-show. I do think that H.E.R is a legend. Both of them are legends. But I'm with you. Even though Paul McCartney is more boring than Beyonce, but that's a bad example too because I actually like Beyonce. Because even with the blackout, I like Beyonce's performance better than Paul McCartney's. Prince, that's a good one. That's a good one. That guy barely did any dancing. That guy just had the guitar. He had nice little visuals around him. It basically was a Purple Rain concert. I enjoyed that more than the dancing. Like I said, I see dancing all the time in football. I love football. I see cheerleaders all the time. I see dancers. I see jet dancers. I see it all the time. I don't need to see J-Lo do that again. I see that on MTV. I see that on YouTube. I see that on our IG. I don't need to see that. But I'm in the minority with that. NFL, sex sells. Even if you're ripping off a titty, JT, that means you too. Sex sells. Well, I mean, only because the FCC fined them. It wasn't worth the titty rip. Oh, yeah. But other than that, it was great. Even though, Chris Rock, he called it a community titty because it was so old. Yeah. We've all seen it.
I watched it a few times coming up. But, no, I mean, I get what you're saying because I also think it depends on the performer. Very few people can hold their own. I think it's kind of like, honestly, like podcasting. If you don't anyone can talk and speak, but it's your delivery, it's your enthusiasm and all that. So someone that I would think would do great at the Super Bowl and did through the national anthem was Whitney Houston. Like, I think she could have held her own with that entire crowd. Again, a diverse crowd as well, right? Because of the power of her voice, the way in which she delivers it, the songs that she had set up.
You mean in 2021? In 2021, you think her songs would have been relevant now at a Super Bowl performance?
Absolutely. I think Whitney Houston, people like Whitney Houston, Prince, their music is, well, Whitney Houston, some of them, is timeless. I think it would hold up. Like, imagine Whitney Houston going out during this time with everything going on with, like, everybody that, like, the people that the NFL put out there, like the pandemic helpers and the frontline workers, and singing I Will Always Love You. Like, just songs that people kind of resonate with. And the way in which I think she would perform would have been great. Same thing with Prince and Purple Rain, right? And then, like, connecting that to things going on with the pandemic. I think that would be great. I also think Beyonce could sing songs without dancing. Like, if she sang Halo, I think she could hold us up. I think that people, they incorporate the dancing and stuff to get more people involved. Like, Beyonce always brought people out, like Destiny's Child, and then even Katy Perry brought out, like, Missy Elliott and stuff like that.
JT brought out NSYNC once, you're right.
Yeah, like, they always try to make it just for people's reaction. More people want to see more. The more people you have, the better it is. People kind of quantify that. But honestly, I think even artists, non-black artists like Miley Cyrus, I think she could do, like, Jolene renditions if she wanted to, things like that, where she just sang, people would love it. But yeah, I think a lot of, because the amount of money that they have, they can't just say, give me a chair and a spotlight, I'm gonna go out there and sing, unless you're Prince.
Yeah, and I don't think they would have gave. I don't think they would have given that contract to Jay-Z if he did that either. If he just, like, put people out there and just I don't think, and I agree with you. I think Whitney's rendition of the national anthem is still the best ever, but I don't think that she would do well. And even before she died, her voice was kind of dying down a lot. Like, a lot. Like,
she was pretty good when she was.
It was not that good, actually, when she was performing live and near her death. It was not good at all. I think you need to look that up. That was not.
I probably
Ray J was sounding better. Ray J was sounding better.
People get real mad when I say I don't think Mariah Carey could sing anymore. Or they get real mad. I get bunches of people.
No, you're right. No,
and I'm like,
a lot of pills too to get there.
Yeah, I'm like. She was hitting the bottle pretty hard, and she talked about it like, yeah, it messed up my vocal cords, hitting these high notes and drinking champagne don't mix. I'm like, you're right, but shout out to her for making Sparkle, I guess.
Glitter.
I'm not a Mariah Carey. Oops, my bad. I'll get so much hate. So I'm sorry. I'm not a big Mariah Carey fan.
No, you're right. She said that in her book. Shout out to Maya Narratives on her YouTube channel. She mentioned that in her book, and then I read it. And she does. She mentions that. She is totally forthright with that. She does believe, as well as we do, that her voice is shot. She tries to work with the best she can. She even has a drink that she named. When I heard that she named an alcoholic drink, Pink Elephant, I was like, there's no way that you could deny that you have been drinking away your voice.
Hitting the bottle.
Mary J. Blige is someone I feel that used to be able to sing really early in her 20s and then lost her voice, but again, made most of what she had, and she's the queen of R&B soul. So you don't. Patti LaBelle used to hit home runs with her voice, and then
she was singing.
Yeah, no, she still can. Don't get me wrong. I don't think she's lost her voice at all. But I don't know. That might be a bad example then. The reason why I'm saying is because she toned down her voice, and that's when she got more successful. So you don't necessarily have to be a home run hitter like Mariah Carey and Whitney to perform well. And I also think that Mariah and Whitney are a little bit one-dimensional for a Super Bowl performance, for a halftime show, for a national anthem, for maybe like a headliner like Jasmine Sullivan in the beginning. Like you said, who was another one that was performing there? I think it was Miley Cyrus. That makes sense. But for a halftime show where you need to have eyeballs for those commercial spots, those $1 million commercial spots, I don't see that. But I feel you though. I love Whitney too, though. I hate that I shitted on her right there. I love her. The Silhouette Challenge. I want to know if you think it was dumb. Actually, my bad. I did it again. I put my personal. So the TikTok challenge. Women were following Doja Cat. Doja Cat has a song about that and she's great. I'm a big Doja Cat fan, even though when she puts her foot in her mouth and gets all anti-Semitic and shit, even though she's Jewish. Right, makes no sense. But whatever, I try my best to differentiate the music from her. Plus, light skin nation, man. I gotta shoot for the stars with my biracial bitches out there. Anyway, so Doja Cat, she has some like kind of vibe going on in the video where she starts off in a regular dress near the doorway, and then in the red light, in the red silhouette, you see a silhouette of her naked body pretty much. Some people have done it in their panties and underwear. Some people have done it butt-ass naked. The people who did it butt-ass naked, sucks for them, because there are perverted dudes out there, and in 2021, software is available on every phone to take away filters. I understand that women were having fun. Whoever was doing it, I'm sure there was some dangling dicks. I'm sure there was some dangling dicks out there. I'm sure there were, but in like some red, like we were like in a red room developing photos and shit. Like, oops, there goes a cock. No thanks. No thanks. So I've got a lot of flack in my personal conversations because yes, it's a felony to repost naked pictures of someone else's without permission, just like if you're going up under skirts and shit like that. And it's also creepy and should be against the law for the people setting up tutorials on how to expose these women. But my thing is where I get in trouble is, why were these girls thinking that a filter was going to save their naked bodies? Like where did the intelligence come there? Am I like a victim blamer in that? I don't know.
I mean, me being not, I've run a few businesses and I'm not the tech guy. I always say like Patrick is a technical guy. He does all the analysis. I don't do any of that. Well, I do it now because I learned and I got tired of asking for help. But before, like there was a lot of, I asked, quote unquote, there's no such thing as a stupid question. But some stuff you can just Google. And I think I think some people they saw it and it's like, oh, they just ran to do it without actually thinking it through thoroughly, which I think we've all done at some point in time in our lives. Now, again, I think it's 100% not their fault. I think people should have enough respect for people, men and women, all together to not want to go, oh my God, I can get this naked photo of this girl in an illegal way. I just think that if it's illegal, you shouldn't be trying to do it, especially if it violates basic human rights and basic human privacy. So again, I understand. I think after the first person was exposed, if you continue to do it, then that's kind of on you. Like, hey, people are doing this. I don't care. They're not going to do my body. Why would they want to see my body? Oh, look, my titties on Twitter. I think it's like, no, you knew people were doing this. You shouldn't have done that. But the initial thing, I think people should have just had basic human decency and not done that. Like,
I agree.
Like you said, it's real creepy.
But like when you wait for human decency, like don't hold your breath for it. For instance,
especially in America.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There was something local around here that happened, and I kind of had a similar stance, even though I don't want anybody getting bit in the eye. So there was this woman that went really late at night to a liquor store, and I prefaced that, so obviously there's some bias there. She went there really late, and there was a bunch of thugs that were inside there. They offered to buy her drink. She declined. She respectfully declined. And that's what it seemed like on the video, at least. And they took offense to that, and they came and they surrounded her. They beat her up. One of them tried to bite her eye out. Like, that's how savage and disgusting someone could be.
Really hungry.
Exactly. So this person brought it up to me, and I was like, and obviously I was disturbed. I don't want anybody to go through that. She was like, a woman can't just go get some wine, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh yeah, my bad. I forgot to say that. She went to go get a wine, but she wanted a bottle of wine. Like when she got like late at night, she had the urge to get a bottle of wine. I live in Southside Jamaica, Queens. I live in an area where the Chinese spot has glass bulletproof. I'm not going over there at 1 a.m. and quote unquote, I'm a dude. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who is perceived to be able to defend themselves, I guess, more. That's what I was saying. I was just like, damn, I understand. I want to live in a world that you want to live in too, where we could just leave whenever we want. We used to go to school in Indiana. We went to a school where the town next over, the Red Dragon, resurfaced from the Ku Klux Klan. I wasn't going to go bring, even though BLM didn't exist, I wasn't going to go bring, you know what I'm saying, like the protest over to that town. You know what I'm saying? So that was my point. I've had a couple of females get very upset at me, being like, you're victim blaming this and that. And I'm like, I just don't understand, like, why it's that important to go get a bottle of wine if you know that that area is dangerous. Then when they were asking people, when they were asking residents around the area, like, had they, like, they knew about this. They, like, this group had done it before. So in my thing, like, where were you when, like, this whole area knew that these people were doing this, and, like, you missed the memo in your own neighborhood that, like, this is happening? So those are my questions. Again, dirty, nasty. I think they found the dudes. The whole area ganged together and stood up for the woman like they rightfully should have done. But everybody, stop going to liquor stores at 2 a.m. where you know it's a dangerous place.
Yeah, I could definitely think there is, because I know, especially if you had a few, like, you may not. I see both sides. One side is like, yes, everyone should be able to go anywhere they want at any point, at any time of day, and do whatever they want to do without fear of being, like, beat up. Like, I live in Taiwan, safest country in the world. I've been walking down dark alleys in Taiwan at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning with creepy guy behind me, and the last thing I'm thinking about is him robbing me. I'm thinking about him stopping and saying, "Hey, you dropped $5. Let me give it back to you." That's how safe.
Wow, I like that life. Shit. It froze, Carl. Carl, it froze.
Yeah, that's how safe Taiwan is. So, like I did, I don't know what that was weird. Like, that's how safe Taiwan is. It's like, nighttime, I don't have to worry about that. But I also understand, like, yes, being from Chicago is like when it was 2 a.m. I needed to get gas. I knew which gas stations not to go to. Or if I pulled up and saw some people that was creepy, if I felt uncomfortable, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to run away. But it seems like, she went inside. Maybe she didn't see them from outside. Like, she went inside and then saw them. It was like, oh, I thought it was cool. So, there's a lot of variables there that we just don't know. But, I understand, get both sides. Like, yes, practice the self-awareness. I wouldn't recommend my sister ever going anywhere at 2 a.m. to a liquor store. No matter where it is. It can be in white Bumbleberg town. Like, they still be out there, trying to lynch people and stuff. So, yeah, I can see both sides. But I do, again, it's not her fault at all. It's just the shitty people that she ran into at the time.
So I have a personal situation that relates more to the TikTok challenge, the silhouette challenge. When I was younger, so I don't send nudes. I don't ask for nudes, but that doesn't mean that I haven't. That means that I learned my lesson early in life and that I'm done. I'm scarred enough where, like, I will never do it again. So one of the things that scarred me was a self-inflicted. I was 17 or 16 at the time, and back then you couldn't send nudes. I was sending Polaroids. I was sending fucking Kodak film to bitches. Not many. It was one person. And I was in a long-distance relationship. The girl was in Florida. And I decided to develop film with my dick. What a fucking idiot. And I even when I went to the fucking CVS or whatever it was, I forgot what it was, the person's looking at me like, for real, why did I do that? Why did I have to see that? Like, and I'm like looking at him like,
my bad, job.
It's your job. I was going to say, do your job. Like, so I get that. So, later, I forget about it. I put it in my drawer. Again, I'm underage, so I'm still living at home. And my mother is nosy, and I knew my mother was nosy, and I still put it in my drawer. This chick found it, and it became a big deal. Not a big deal, but she was traumatized in my mind. I was like, you birthed the wrong son, because I'm not ashamed. Like, that's your fault. I'm like, I didn't want you to see my dick at this age, but that was you. So, but in my opinion, I still was the wrong one. I still knew that my mom was nosy. I still knew that, like, it was dumb to take those photos of my penis and keep them in a fucking drawer. So that's my point. Does anybody have any accountability? Like,
I mean, again, I personally, I see what you're saying. Like, I personally would not do anything naked with any type of lighting and put it up on the internet and not expect and somehow it's going to be messed with. Like, again, and then like, oh yeah, I'm making this photo. I'm sure there are people like, oh my God, wait, he's naked. Wait, but I can't see anything. Let me see if I can, like, people zoom in for dick prints. So I know if they're zooming in for dick prints, if there's a way to manipulate light and they're just sitting around bored, especially during the pandemic, anything I post with any type of lighting, they're going to find a way to do it. Again, I also have that background knowledge and experience to know that. But again, I don't want to assume that everyone also has that same level of understanding technology, because I come from a place where I didn't know a lot, and now I know a lot more. I'm like, man, I really didn't know a lot, and I did a lot of stupid stuff. So again, I understand. Yes, I think you have to be accountable for your own actions. I think posting anything nude, even though you're quote unquote covered, is just a bad idea unless you're comfortable with your news being out there. Like, that's why OnlyFans is there. Like, I would have did all my silhouettes on OnlyFans. I'm like, oh, okay, so I got to pay $17 to see me.
That's true.
And I might have on underwear. Surprise.
That's right. That's right, Kendrick. This dick ain't for free. I feel you. Who cried? Why did Chloe cry?
I don't know, because it wasn't really about the silhouette challenge. But, I mean, she put out a few videos, I think, after the silhouette challenge. I think one of them was with, like, a red light, but she was clothed, I guess. But now, I mean, people were like, because she was a young woman when she came into the industry, and now she's a grown-ass woman, if you will. People were like,
Chloe who? Chloe Kardashian, Chloe Savine?
No. Chloe and Halle from the Sisters.
One of them that's going to be Ariel in Little Mermaid. Oh, I love that. Yeah. They're signed over there, Beyonce, I believe.
Yeah, Ariel is Halle. That's the one that she don't be doing that because she's trying to get that Disney bag. So
yeah, good for her. Get that bag.
Halle is that one. Chloe the one. She ain't got that Disney. She ain't getting that Disney bag. She can really do whatever she want. But yeah, she's becoming into womanhood. She got on IG Live trying to talk about it. And she got people making her cry, like saying weird stuff. It's like, nah, man, like women should be able to, again, safely express themselves however they want to, without fear of discrimination and like people attacking you and saying this, that, and the third. But that's an example I think you use. It's like, hey, you know how the internet is. You ain't got to respond. Either put it out there and then don't care what people think, because that's what the internet is. Yeah. Or put it out there and don't say nothing at all. Like, there's really no in between with that. Like, if you put it out there, you can't be mad at people having certain types of reactions, because that's just how the internet is. Now, old men being creepy, that's different. That's just creepy. But like people saying things, having opinions, like this is what the internet is. And especially if you do things that are perceived sexy, then like you're gonna have some words exchanged. But I definitely empathize with her, because like things people were saying were just terrible and miserable. But I use that example not to say again nothing with Chloe, like her thing was just separate, but the example of putting things out there and like not expecting things to happen. But no, she didn't deserve anything to be said, obviously, but it kind of just happened as a result of people being creepy. Cool. And being on the internet.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do think that the people like me, everybody that says jaded or a hater or something like that, I think I have just as many rights to comment, judge, be a social commentary, all that kind of stuff, just like that person has the right to want to receive positive feedback for their work, their creation, all that kind of stuff. There's people who hate on my podcast all the time. That's fine. They have every right to do that. That's okay. Like, I have the right to suck just as much as I have the right to excel. So I don't. So but I don't know that Chloe situation. So I don't.
Oh, yeah. Well, like,
I don't want anybody to bully her either. But like I said, people have the right to mouth dog too.
Yeah, because like when she got on, I'm like, Chloe, you don't owe nobody no explanation. You go out there and live your best life.
Absolutely.
You ain't got to say nothing to nobody. You out here winning. They losing.
You're right, Carl. I got one more thing. Everybody's going to think that you're a misogynist like me. So in New York, the bus is a treat. Being on the public transportation is always a treat. And there was this person, I just saw a viral video, I think it's from TikTok, and this dude is on the bus, and this lady is yelling at the bus driver. That's a very common thing. I'm sure that's pretty common in Chicago too. Probably not so much in Taiwan, a little bit more even keel over there. But people are always yelling at the bus driver as if it's the bus driver's fault that the person's late. I've done it too. I've been like, why we gotta fucking stop? Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Even when I do it, I'm just like, hey, what are you doing? I'm gonna be even more late. Like, stupid. Even the conductor, like, it's just dumb, but we all do it. I don't think New Yorkers are ever gonna stop doing it. So there's this lady, an elder lady. She starts yelling at the bus driver. And the person, I think I might have said this to you, actually. The person sitting in the bus says, yo, we all going to be late. You ain't no different. Oh, you did see it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I saw that part. I didn't see the whole thing, though.
Oh, so she's saying mind your own business, even though she's yelling at a bus driver, like, in front of everybody. I don't see, like, how that's not everybody's business. And we're all going to the same destination. Like, where's the disconnect of our business? We're all vested in this bus, this crowded-ass bus. So I got a lot of Larry David flack because I was just like, I agree with him. And everyone's just like, well, first of all, why is he letting us stand? And I'm like, there's 8 million people in New York, guys. So you can't give it up to every fucking female. Like maybe like a pregnant lady, maybe like a handicapped person. But like a functioning female that has 2 legs and like can go to work and get up just like everybody else, I don't see why we have to give up our seat to that person. So I'm sure you have different opinions and I want to hear them.
I mean, again, if you're in a public space and you're making a very public comment, you can't say that like mind your business. Like if you're on your cell phone yelling at somebody, again, they're none of my business because I can't physically see or be on that person. But again, a lot of people like I've been in Chicago on the bus. People start stopping. Like it was a video. I don't remember that video. That guy on the bus. I don't know if it might have been Detroit, maybe not Chicago. And like that girl stand up and then that bus driver got up and punched the shit out that girl.
Oh, that was crazy. And she was wilding on him before that. Not to say that I believe anybody like.
No, he was in the wrong because he
was because you need I was gonna say you need equal force. I agree. Like if you would have like slapped her, like it would have been like okay, but yeah, you're right. He like
a strong stiff arm.
Yeah. He went. Yeah, he tried to destroy her. That wasn't okay. Yeah, you're right. He was trying to destroy.
But it's like, but I've been also on the bus Chicago, just actually riding by myself, and the bus driver, like somebody started talking crazy to the bus driver, and everybody on the bus was like, hey, shut up. We trying to get home. You distracting us. Now it's a problem with me. Now you're disrupting my personal time. Like, oh no, I'm out of your business. I'm talking this between me and the bus driver. I'm about to fight him. Cool. You fight him on your time when I'm not on your bus.
You would be a great bus driver. I would love to.
Like people y'all better move. Hey, take 10 and pipe down. So, it's just, people always feel like entitled with, if I'm an argument, like this is my personal business until they get hit.
Word.
Everybody or somebody gets snapped on. Like, take it out, film him. Look what he's saying to me. Like, no, you started this, or maybe she didn't. I don't know. But like whoever started, like once it's a public thing, it's a public thing. You're in a public place. Like,
even with the cell phone, I don't know how it is in the Midwest or Taiwan, but when I am on the bus or the train, they make an announcement a couple of times. Please do not have loud conversations on your phone. And it even says it on the sign when you're getting in the bus. Please no loud conversations on your cell phone. So even that's all our business because you're not even following the fucking rules. And I love when people bring food. I've done it too, by the way. And I'm always ready. I'm a New Yorker. I'm ready to be hypocritical at all times. That's a real New Yorker. We have to contradict ourselves no matter what and complain about it. So, I brought food and I'd be like, mind your business. But I'm breaking the rules. But that's how New Yorkers are. We never feel like we're breaking the rules. And when we're breaking the rules, mind your fucking business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing something bad? Okay, cool. You not. How about you go over there and you mind your business while I do what I'm doing over here? What I'm doing has nothing to do with you. And again, that makes perfect sense.
True.
At the time.
True. I love your shirt, by the way. Before we get into some motherfucking music. Yes, man, you got great apparel. I need to set my fucking game up.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
What the fuck did I hear?
That was very enjoyable, Carl. I try not to make the what's happening so long and lengthy, but you're a great person to talk to, so thank you for that. And yeah, we don't usually talk about sports, but you're very knowledgeable in that area, even though you're a little gobbler about Tom.
I said he wasn't a goat. You said he wasn't a goat.
I know, man. I know. Come on, man.
Lawrence Taylor.
I love Lawrence Taylor, but I'm a Jet fan, man. I can't be calling that Giants player the best player of all time. What the fuck is that?
He is, though.
Marilyn Manson, that boy has been way too naughty. We always used to think that it was a stage act, that he was just like this fucking demonic stigmata. But no, actually, the women in his life say that it's true. Armie Hammer is a cannibal. But this guy right here is pretty close to that too, man. He likes to whip them. He likes to rape them. He likes to have his friends rape. So a few years ago, Evan Rachel Wood, she is the main star in Westworld. She went up to Congress and anonymously outed Marilyn Manson because the statute of limitation, the cops already told her they wouldn't be able to defend her. Even in a libel, nothing. She wouldn't be able to defend her. So she never said his name. Then a few other of his ex-girlfriends doubled down on it. And now she has outed his name, Marilyn Manson. A lot of projects have dropped him, saying that with Armie Hammer of him being a cannibal. They have canceled Marilyn Manson finally. I'll believe it when Lil Uzi Vert takes off the chain. I'll believe that. What do you think about this, man? Do you believe the accusations of physical abuse and allegations against Mr. Marilyn Manson?
And I think I actually saw something the other day where people were like, I forgot exactly what it said. Damn, it was actually really relevant to this. So it was like, yeah, like it takes a long time it's either something about taking a long time for abusers to recognize that they've abused someone, or on the lights of people who have been abused to actually come to the forefront and actually, to speak it out loud, like, hey, and even recognize yourself that, hey, I was abused. So again, without knowing someone personally, it's hard to say whether I believe it or not, but it's just, I do think that all the stories are worth being heard and fact checked, not necessarily fact checked, but like looked into and then investigated. And then honestly, people, when these situations always come up, it's kind of like when you're teaching, like, this student made this other student feel this way, but the other student doesn't see why they felt that way. I would say, hey, how about y'all sit down and talk to each other? Just sit down and actually talk one person at a time, actually listen, by yourselves without me, and then come to a conclusion together before you walk out of the classroom.
Such a teacher, such an educator, right? Over there.
Honestly, it's like, yeah, having a moderator would help if one person's being stubborn or the other, but not like you can't leave until both you guys walk out of here feeling like there's been some kind of conclusion. And like that sounds difficult, but if you physically can't leave a space until there's some kind of reconciliation, you're forced to at least listen to the other person. You know what I mean? And say, oh, okay, cool. I didn't recognize that this was happening, or that when I did these things, it had this impact on you, or the stupid statement, but also sometimes true for some people in their own minds. I thought you were having a good time. Like, no, that hurt, or this was actually abuse, and you didn't. So I think, with the Bill, I have a whole different theory about the Bill Cosby thing, but I think again, it's just worth opening the dialogue and actually looking into it. And again, it could be a situation where like looking into it, and then he learned something about himself that he didn't recognize. It could be something where, again, it was all just kind of made up. We just don't know, unless you don't know them personally, weren't really there during that time. But I think all these issues need to be investigated, because even sometimes, like, men are abused as well. It's not really talked about. You don't really realize how you're abused. Emotional abuse is actually really, really big on the man side. Again, we just don't recognize it that because, we're supposed to be big, strong men. We just don't worry about it. She's just tripping. No, she throws an iron at you. That ain't just tripping. No. You could have died, my man. An iron to the head will knock you out cold, especially if it's hot. It'll knock you out hot. So, yeah, I think it's just worth opening the dialogue and looking into it, and him confronting it and actually having those conversations about it.
Word. I usually believe the victims or the accusers, especially when it comes to sexual assault and abuse towards women on the domestic side, the male versus woman side. That doesn't mean that that's a good thing. That doesn't mean that, like, my approach to that is the correct way to do that. Obviously, like you just said, even in moderation, investigations, whatever the case may be, you have to look at both sides. You have to look in the gray areas. You have to look everywhere, just so that you can have a good verdict, a good judgment on like what to do to move forward. But because we've had 10,000 years of male dominance and women just being on the other side of the pendulum, I try to give the slight edge to women. But if I ever deviate a little bit, just like a slight, I'm like the worst misogynist of all time. Like I'm not gonna lie, like that is a fault of mine. I have to work on my questions, because that actually stood out to me when you said victims don't know that they're being abused until later, and even the abusers sometimes don't know that they're abusing someone until way later. And that hit me hard because that's actually really true. I've abused people in situations, friendships, relationships, and even in the conversation where I got into trouble with my friend in a DM where she was telling me about her abusive situation, and I was asking questions, but I was asking it as if like she could have done something differently to avoid that or blah, blah, blah. And that's not really what I meant. So I got to be careful with that. Like you just said, like not a lot of people realize they're in that bubble and in that danger. And so me asking that kind of like post-traumatic kind of a follow-up kind of necessary because like you said, we don't know.
Yeah, and I think, and it's I mean, because I've dealt and I've mentored people who've been through that, and I've helped a lot of people along. So I just have a lot of professional, quote unquote, hands-on experience.
A lot more than me.
But it's always I've always just encouraged an open dialogue about, again, not necessarily the Manson particular issue, but an open dialogue about things when it comes up. For like maybe like not as serious as like sexual assault, but like all of them are serious, not to devalue any one or the
Absolutely.
other. But like things with like verbal, what's that word? Not verbal.
Mental abuse, verbal abuse.
Yeah, verbal and like mental abuse, things like that. Like it's always to have that open dialogue with but again, both sides have to be ready. Like there's a lot more that goes into that as well. But yeah, like it's always good to know like which questions to ask, how to approach someone that's been dealing with it, what not to say, like to listen to their cues, pick up on things that they're saying that isn't usual. Like there's a lot of things that you can kind of look toward when having those, because those conversations are hard and no one's perfect at them. No matter how much certification you have, if you don't have a personal connection with that person, things that work with someone, but one person may not work with the other. So it's really just important to, if you don't know, ask for help.
I agree. I don't mind people thinking I'm an asshole in general, but like subjects like that, I need to be better because it's never a good optic when you're on the side of like, when people think that you're on the side of the abuser, like Chris Brown, I'm not going to get too deep into that. We've talked about this on the show before. But yes, I stood on a hill for Chris Brown, and I will never do it ever again. So, yeah, no, you're right. We all have to do better, and I definitely have to do better. If I had to give myself a grade on talking to people that have been abused, I would have to give myself a D- at least. I would give myself an F, actually, but I'm trying to be nice. Tony Bennett, he is an older star. He was in association with Frank Sinatra for a long time. I actually worked at Frank Sinatra High School for a little while when I was a teacher. And he is the one that founded that school in Astoria next to the Museum of Moving Image. Actually, it's near Kaufman Studios, too, where they film like Orange is the New Black, some Marvel stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's a really cool area. So Tony Bennett, like I said, he has Alzheimer's. He's battled drugs for a long time, but he's still one of the greatest singers of all time. Do you have anybody in your network of friends, family that has dealt with Alzheimer's? Are you a fan of Tony Bennett at all?
Oh, well, not a big Tony Bennett fan, to be honest.
Okay. Gotcha.
I've heard a few songs. But no, yeah, Alzheimer's runs in, but a lot of my grandmother's sisters and brothers, I think 5 out of 10, she had 11 brothers and sisters. 5 out of 10 of them had it. So it is something, and I know it has a lot to do with, honestly, Coca-Cola. People don't want to think about that, but I think, well, sorry, you might be sponsored by Coke. But conspiracy theorists think that has something to do with Coca-Cola or Pepsi, but who knows? But yeah, I know it's like, but no, yeah, I have a lot of experience with it. It's extremely difficult to deal with. It kind of, for some people, comes out of nowhere, but there are signs. A healthy diet does make a difference. People don't get that. Like eating a lot of peanuts, protein, grain-based things like are always really good. That's a huge part of it. And just exercising and reading. I think a lot of people, older people that I know that have no problems with Alzheimer's, like my grandmother, reads all the time. Like she's just an avid reader. She's an absorber of knowledge, and she's active. Like the moment you become inactive, it's easier to get, I mean, not easier to get, but you're more likely to get certain things because your brain slows down. But as long as you stay active, the more active you are, the less, likely you are to get it. And it's really hard to tell who's active and who's not, especially when you're rich and famous and you live far away out from a lot of people and things are done for you. So you have to do them on your own. But yeah, not a big Tony Bennett fan, but I mean, it is a serious, is a disease or not necessarily a disease, but it's a diagnosis, I want to say. A condition, a syndrome.
I think it is. I think it's an autoimmune. I think it's an autoimmune immune disease. I think it is like multiple sclerosis, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, cognitive functioning. Yeah, it's big in my family too, and it's hereditary, and it's big in the Black community. You're right. A lot of my dad's family has had it and has it, or is on the way to having it. It was just a movie, so I can't like really say that like, oh, well, there's some people that like it's the opposite. But I guess it was based on a true story. The Julianne Moore movie, I think it was called something Alice, and she was a world-renowned linguistic, and so she was very highly intelligent, like probably top tier, and she got dementia, and they said that a professional in the movie said that people that are really intelligent set up a lot of building blocks in their head, a lot of mechanisms to remember things, a lot of like moving parts. So they were saying, and I'm not disputing, I'm just saying like what I heard in the movie, that people that do that often, highly intelligent people, those are the ones that are more susceptible because their brain is breaking down from all that movement. Their brain is like violently just saying, yo, this is a lot. You put me through the ringer for a long time, so I gotta shut down. So that's just for the movie. So I can't really dispute that. I was just giving it another perspective. Interesting. Okay. Onto some debut music. During the Super Bowl, there were a couple songs that made their debut. It's actually from the soundtrack from H.E.R. It is called. Oh yeah. Yeah. Actually, let me find that movie. That's a great one. It's about the premiere. I think Daniel Olaway is supposed to be in it. Wow, I can't believe I lost it. H.E.R. What soundtrack is it from? And I didn't see the movie yet. Miss Gabby Wilson. I love her. I love her. Well, let's talk about while I'm looking for where it's from. Did you see the Dolly Parton commercial, 5 to 9, where she changed her song?
I kind of did. I don't remember it as clearly as I thought I did. When you talked about it, I was like, man, I remember that one, but I don't know how clearly I remember that one. But I can actually bring it up on YouTube.
Nice.
Are those already out already? This was a very underwhelming commercial segment, by the way.
I disagree. Tell me why it was underwhelming.
There weren't any ones that stood out.
We just said some. We just said like 5 of them. The Tracy Morgan one, where like you would say pretty sure.
Oh, I mean, other than that.
Well, tell me a year. No, actually, that's too specific. Damn, there's a new movie out. It's like Justice or something like that, and it's with I think it's with Daniel Olaway from Get Out. I think he's in a new movie that's like about the debut. He's got like the Green Beret hat and shit like that. Damn.
New movie with Daniel.
Something in the Justice. Damn.
Justice Mercy? No, Just Mercy.
No, that's Michael B. Jordan.
Elle Fanning and Justice Smith, All the Bright Places. Justice on Trial?
No. Wow, my phone is bugging.
I'm doing this.
Wow, this is really bad. Why is this movie not popping up?
Yeah, it's not on his IMDb unless it's Judas and the Black Messiah.
Ah, that's who it is. Who is that? Is that my man Boyega?
Daniel Kaluuya.
Oh, that's him. That is the guy from Queen of Slim. That is the guy from Get Out.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, what is that called?
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yes. Okay. So my bad, guys. That is where her song derives from. It is on that soundtrack. I am going to watch that movie. I actually have been looking forward to that movie, but there's been a lot of movies lately. So please repeat that name, Carl, and thank you so much for finding that.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Nice. I will definitely be watching that soon. And where is that streaming?
I don't know.
Oh, it's okay. We'll get into that when we get into the what the fuck.
It's on. I think it's in theaters.
Yeah.
HBO Max.
Yeah, I was about to say, so it was part of that HBO Max rollout.
HBO Max.
Gotcha. All right, so let's get into some movies since we're already talking about it.
I'm going to get a little high.
What the fuck did I watch?
Malcolm and Marie. Oh, my fucking God. The Black Blue Valentine. Holy shit. If you're into toxic relationships, if you've been in a toxic relationship, if you're entertained by toxic relationships, if you live in an apartment where only a wall is stopping you from domestic violence, report. This is the movie for you. Zendaya and my man John David Washington, great actors. Seth Levinson, he is the creator of Euphoria. He directs this as well. It's a quarantine production, so it was just the two of them. They tried to stay as safe as possible. I thought it was very good. Especially with just two people, just doing the whole dialogue like a play, like pretty much, like just focusing in on them. There's a huge, not huge age gap, but like, there was a bit of an age gap that a lot of people like to focus on with that. Zendaya had something to say about that. She was like, I play a lot of child parts, so I'm pretty sure that's why you think that you can't think of me as adults. Yeah. I agree with other people that have seen it. There's no right and wrong, but there's a lot of people choosing sides. Did you see this movie, Carl?
I didn't see it yet, but I saw people had a lot of feedback about it. One person, they said, is just basically, there need to be trigger warnings because it is like a lot of, I think we're talking about like mental abuse. I don't know about the physical part. A lot of mental abuse. And again, like, I don't particularly like when films do that for Black people in particular because it, just with Hollywood and how we portray it, it pits us against each other. The fact that we have to choose sides for a man and a woman, especially when you do it like that. I do believe that I'm going to watch it, but I hope that it's a good piece of art. Meaning, like the acting is superb, and they are both amazing actors and doing great series and shows. But I hope that they do a good job of communicating the meaning behind it and what they want people to walk away from, instead of allowing Twitter, because that's what it's going to start with, let's be honest, to kind of take it and run with it and kind of paint it in a certain light. Like, I've had really friends that seen it, had early access and said, Charles Kirkland, I don't know if you know him. He was like, Charles. He went to the screening. Yeah, he went to the screening. He's like, it's not all that, which again, I take it with a grain of salt. Everybody has different tastes.
Well, he's also married.
Yeah. I wasn't all that.
He probably like Shereen. Put the eyes that way.
But also, like, again, single friends is like, no, man, she crazy. No, man, he crazy. But again, I'll watch it and make my own, opinion of it. But like toxic relationships, I just think that it's not, especially people being in a pandemic and being in chat with people, I just don't think it's a good time to release things about toxic relationships, because if you're not with a partner that you can have that kind of open dialogue where it doesn't pour into your own relationship, that's dangerous. Like, people don't, again, a lot of toxic people be toxic as hell and don't be knowing it, and you don't be calling them out on it because you be in love. So it's really important, to watch that.
That's a great point.
So, man, and it's true. Like, it's fact. Like, I've done that too. Like, oh no, she's great. And she's a raging alcoholic, Carl. All your friends telling you that, but all you see is love.
I almost fell in love with a heroin addict, so I definitely feel you on that. Shout out to my boy Dev. When I told him that, he was like, "Oh, well, that's not happening. Like, I'm gonna make sure." Once I admitted that to him, I was like, "Yeah, she used to be a heroin addict when she was a teenager." He was like, "Ooh." And my boy Paul. Shout out to him too. He was like, "Vince, we're not letting that happen. We're not like you can have fun with her, but like if it starts getting serious, we're gonna fucking punch you in the face." I'm like, and shout out to her. She has a baby now and she's married. That was only like 2 years ago. Yeah, man. Women move fast, man. Women move fast. You go from quack to whack to all types of shit. Anyway, Malcolm Marie, like I said, one more thing about it, without spoiling anything, I agree with a lot of your points. I don't think anything, art should be timed, but I definitely get where you're coming from. I think that it was done on purpose, the divisiveness of it. That's how movies go. Just like Team Edward and Team whatever that motherfucker Tyler from fucking what's that thing called? Twilight, Issa Rae and Lawrence, Team Issa, Team Lawrence. Like, it's just fun. It's especially in the age of social media, a lot that it just creates a lot of engagement. And so I thought that was genius. Pitting people together. As far as like the black community, I kind of ran into this before with a movie called Spell. And it was with my man from Power.
From Power. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With those boogities.
I've never heard that, but that's true. But my homegirl Courtney, my narratives, she was disappointed, and I felt like it kind of gave the similar vibe what you were saying. Even though there are Appalachian blacks out there are country blacks, there are, voodoo, all that kind of stuff. Everybody deserves a depiction. Everybody deserves a story. But she was saying, kind of saying you were saying, like, yeah, that exists, but there are a lot more things to project, and there are a lot of things to promote an image of a black couple. Why we got to do this one? So I definitely see what you guys are saying.
I actually thought, I understand, again, I agree with that, and I see that. But I thought with that one, at least, it was like, it's like Malcolm and Marie sounds a lot like Malcolm, what's his name? Malcolm X. Sorry. I know what it is, guys. I know what it is.
One night in Miami, baby.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great movie, too. With that one, I think it's because it's fiction. Sorry, nonfiction. What's the fake one? I always get those mixed up.
Nonfiction. Oh, fiction? Yeah, fiction. Sorry, fiction.
Yeah, I was like, it's fiction based. So I'm like, I don't really take that much into it. I think but I think, like you said, like there are a lot of, again, Appalachian black people, I think, but you couldn't put them in a different light. I think because it's fiction, I don't really take the movie itself too seriously, and it was a bad movie overall. But it was fun to see Loretta Devine play a different character.
Yeah, Omari Hendricks, that's the guy from Power, and I love Loretta Devine. I love her from Wait and Exhale and everything she does. She's so great.
Like, it was good to see her, and like him, he basically was like the opposite of his character on Power, but not really at the same time.
He started off very similar to like the uppity.
Yeah, and it was like, oh my God, I'm scared for my life. You chopped off my foot. I got a nail on my foot. Like, come on, ain't nobody. I mean, I guess I don't know what I would do if I had a nail on my foot, but I'm like, I'd probably just give up. That's it. It's my time.
It's my time. Appalachia, here I come. Anyway, on to the next Netflix, Lupin. Lupin, it is a thief. Let me click into that, the cast for that. I actually forgot his name. I think his name is Hassan. Oh, Omar Sy. He's actually really popular in France. His name is Hassan Diop, and he, speaking of book, and shout out to your reading grandmother. She has a grandson that doesn't know the difference between nonfiction and fiction.
Hey, look, everybody.
It's a good thing she reads. But anyway, so my man Omar Sy, Shireen Batella, Ludwig, and there's a lot of women in the show actually. So he he grows up and his father goes to jail through this really rich family, and he wants to see if that actually occurred. He wants to see if his dad is really a thief. And so in order to uncover that mystery, he becomes a thief himself through a book that his father really liked and a character that actually is a famous thief as well. Very good. Very good show. Very short. The second season is supposed to have more episodes. That's coming soon, but obviously it's been delayed through the pandemic. Carl, you watched this show. What did you think about it?
That was great. I liked it. I think it was a clever spin on it. I think it was good to see a French black person at that, because the movie is in French, and it's like they did a good job with they finally got the mouth thing right where they speak English and the subtitles, but it ain't feeling like it was too weird.
Yeah, like, Netflix is really good at that.
Right. I appreciate that. Yeah, but no, the story overall was good. Like I didn't expect a lot of things to happen. It was kind of like a How to Get Away with Murder, but with a black man, like with a different spin to it. And then he was smart, and how resourceful he was just surprising to me. But also, again, very, very interesting. So, again, it was a very, very good overall movie. I think it was great, well done. He's an amazing actor. He was in a movie with, what's that guy named? The guy that played The Godfather. Not Michael, but the other one.
My man Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. He was in a movie with Robert De Niro that was really good, too, also in French. Yeah.
This is my debut for him right now. Maybe I did see him, but I don't remember.
He's really good. So, yeah, it was actually really good. I enjoyed it. It was good to watch. Again, it was short. I wish it was much longer. But it was good to watch, quick to the point. Yeah, he had a little son in there. So son was a little stupid, but other than that, it was cool.
Oh, man, I like him a lot. I love Omar Sy. I got to catch more of him, to be honest. Cool. I'm glad you got to see that. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always is a film about this teenage girl who goes through a lot of abusive situations, a lot of things that you would view as passive that, like, you know, would happen in a typical small town. Still not right. Still gross, disgusting. So they follow these teenage girls named Autumn and Skylar, pretty typical for Pennsylvania. Teenage girl. And they're played by Sydney Flanagan and Talia Ryder. They're actually Irish Americans themselves. So in Pennsylvania, you would think it's only a state away from New York. They have very stringent abortion laws. And you need a parent. It's just a lot more restrictions than there are than New York. So she has to go to New York City to go get this abortion done because of how fucked up Pennsylvania is. As a matter of fact, they lied to her about her due. They lied to her how many weeks she was just so they can convince her to come to term with the baby. It's a crazy ass movie, and like I said, it uncovers a lot of abuse that you don't think is about to happen. You just think it's just some regular abortion visit. No, and the reason why it's called Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always is because those are the options they give when they're asking about trauma. So during the social worker interviews the person getting the abortion, and then during that they ask a questionnaire about their partners, and their partners, they try to figure out basically if they were getting raped, or basically if they were getting abused, or like if they were forced into any sex acts. So Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always are the little bubbles, and are the little bubbles that they check off, like, did this person abuse you? Please tell us. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. And very strong film. I enjoyed it a lot. Is that something? That you would watch, or is that too depressing?
That sounds really like something you got to watch. You're in the best mood ever. But no, I mean, it's again interesting concept. Definitely something I would check out. Just I'm a fan of art and realism too, so I think I would definitely check it out.
Yeah, no, very indie type of movie. That is on HBO Max right now. I tried to download it, but I didn't realize that it was already on HBO Max. Now I have it. Another round. Have you ever seen Hannibal, the show?
No.
Oh, good. I did it. Yeah, I love the movie. I actually didn't see the show either. I asked you that as if I watched it. No, I did not. Mads Mikkelsen. He is one of my favorite movies called. Oh man. Anyway, he is going to be in the Fantastic Beasts movie. He's replacing Johnny Depp. He's a fantastic actor. So he leads in this movie called Another Round, and it goes back to his Danish roots. He is a Danish actor, and they're a bunch of teachers. And he has become really boring and stale. Like, his students don't listen to him anymore. They're just like, fuck, what do you have to say? And during dinner with his friends, he's like trying to remember during his birthday. He's like, where did it all go wrong? Like, when did I become like this fucking depressing person? And they all agree with him. His friends are just like, oh, we'll tell you what. And then so they make this interesting tidbit. It's actually real. It's actually true. We are born with an alcohol deficiency. We are born with negative 0.5 deficiency. So basically, when we drink alcohol, we're filling a void. So when you drink like one, that's why when they tell you, like, try to keep pace, blah, 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 because your body is naturally supposed to take alcohol. Like, you don't need it. It's not like you're like, I'm dependent on it, but your body's missing it. Your body, like, is missing that component. I thought that was so interesting. So basically, he tells Mads this, and they're like, what? So we can just stay like a little bit tipsy and be better teachers and be better coaches, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, man. And that's why, like you say, all leveled, it's like kind of like an equilibrium. So they do that, and obviously it goes haywire. At first, they're teaching better. At first, like, the students are responding to them.
And then it's like,
and then they become alcoholics. And then reality sets in. And the original name is actually called Druk, which means drunk. And then the American title is called Another Round, because Americans don't like to admit that they're drunk. Cool, man. Is that something that's fun enough for you to watch?
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely going to check that out. I haven't watched it yet. I don't have a lot of time in Taiwan to watch movies because you got to find them. But, yeah, definitely going to check that one out, though.
I got you, man. I got you. If you ever need some VPN torrent.
Suggestions. I know where to go.
I gotcha. Minari, we talked about this very briefly because I didn't watch it. It is an Oscar favorite. It's with my homeboy from Walking Dead. It is also on Obama's favorite movie list. That's where I mentioned it last time. But I'm going to give it a little tiny review because it was really good. It was very, very good. Stephen Yeun, I actually went to, he plays Jacob in the movie. Han Yi-ri, she plays Monica. They're a couple. They come from California, actually. They're Korean American. They come from California, and they save up their money checking chickens, hen sexes. So, like, they see if it's a girl or a boy, and they send it off to wherever to become on a farm, blah, blah, blah. And they were doing that in China. They were doing that in Korea as well, and then they did that in California. So he saved up his bread, and he wants to own his own farm. But they just show all the struggles and hardship that it goes through as a family to make that happen. And it's extraordinary. And it's very good. It's like, and they do a lot of, like, Korean speaking with subtitles, and then they go back and forth because they're in America. So, like, you're seeing the interact. It's very, very good. I really enjoyed it.
That reminds me of a book I read called A Year of Impossible Goodbyes. It's actually the first book I read.
Very interesting title.
First long novel I read, but it's about a Vietnamese young girl, and growing up during the Vietnam War, where she got misplaced a bunch of times. So they would actually go to these. She worked at her family. The Vietnamese soldiers somehow, and whoever was fighting the war at the time, I forget which soldiers, but came into the town and wrecked it.
Fire drill. No, I'm joking.
Took her mother. That is excellent. Somebody's alarm outside. Sorry. They came in, they pillaged, they basically tore down their whole house. Then she ended up escaping through like a tunnel through her neighbors, and she ended up working in rice farms, but in China. But she was still Vietnamese, but she had to learn the language and all that. So it was actually a pretty interesting story. So that sounds
a really good one.
Similar to that. The book it took me, the funny thing, I went to Denver. I actually lost the book. I forgot the title and all that. And ended up going to Denver on a road trip through CQ Travels a long time ago, my old travel company. And I was in the bookstore. I was like, man, I really want to find this book I read as a kid. And I gave him, like, I didn't know the name or anything. I was like, Vietnamese girl, rice patties. And then in like 20 minutes, he found the book. And that was like, oh my God.
Gotta love stereotypes.
He's like, hey man, I'm going to find this book for you. I'm like, I really want to read it again. And the thing is, I didn't read it because I was a bit superstitious. Like A Year of Impossible Goodbyes. I was like, I don't really want to read a book. Anything could happen this year, stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm going to actually sit down and read it this year because I remembered it from a young, I was 8 years old when I read this book, but it was so powerful. But it was just a good book overall. So that's a good book I recommend you guys read if you can find it. I got it off Amazon, so it's out there. But it got all these awards and stuff like that.
I love to read.
Sorry, but yes, the movie. I'll check out the movie for sure.
Yeah, no. I love to read, and we used to have a segment called What the Fuck Did I Read? But I need to read a little more in order for that to come back. Freaky's the last movie before we get into the wonderful brand that has been developing for years with my man, the Black Expat. So Freaky stars Vince Vaughn. And the girl from 3 Billboards, her name is Catherine Newton. It's very simple. It's a very simple plot. It's a mix between Friday the 13th and Freaky Friday. Freaky Friday is where they switch bodies, and Friday the 13th is a slasher movie, a classic slasher movie with Jason Voorhees. So my homegirl Millie, she's a high school student, lots of high school vibes. Very playful kind of movie. And then there's this slasher killer, and Vince Vaughn is the slasher killer. They both clash, and he tries to stab her with this ancient civilization knife that's like cursed. And when he stabs her, they switch bodies. So now she's the killer, and now he's a high school student with boobs. So, I thought it was really cool. I've seen lots of movies where they try to mimic the Freaky Friday vibe, and I thought this one actually hit the mark. Vince Vaughn, he sometimes plays really corny shit that sometimes you'll miss, and I think somebody would actually think that with this movie. This movie's actually pretty quality.
Actually, because I watched a few of his movies, like he had with that movie when he was The Wedding Crashers and stuff like that. And he had a streak where he was doing a lot of movies at once, but I think he kind of spaces them out now. But I appreciated him as an actor, so I'll definitely try to check it out. The concept seems interesting. Again, as long as it's done well and not like, the stupid way where he's basically spending more time working through being a woman than actually, the plot of the movie.
And they didn't do that. They didn't do that. That's a good point. A very good point.
So, as long as that's it, then I think it'll be enjoyable. So I'll definitely try to check it out. It's not going to be on my top 10 list of movies to watch. I got so many other things, but I'm definitely going to try to check it out. Though.
It was by accident, actually. And I feel you, man. If my man Vince Vaughn was trying to be like another Amanda Bynes movie, no thanks.
Yeah, then I'm good.
I'm good on that. All right, let's go interview the Black Expat.
Scott, what is it? Date rape psychosis. Date rape something.
What the fuck did I say?
Here we go. My man, the Black Expat, CP Travels, all types of shit. Fucking arts and craft bar. I'm a huge fan. Stop letting me geek out. Stop letting me freak out, Carl. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about CP Travels. I know that, we're not traveling too much, but give us a scope of what your services were providing when we were in our heyday, traveling everywhere.
Yeah, back in the days, CP Travels was where it's at. Because, again, it was basically, the short version of the story is we had been to, myself and Patrick, 25 countries. And when we went to Vietnam one day, the guy was like, oh, yeah, it's customary for you to drink one to finish the keg with the owner of the hostel we were in. We're like, all right, okay, cool. We drink, though, so hope you can handle this. And then we're like 25 beers in. We go to sleep. But we wake up, and we're like, man, every time we travel, we never see people that look like us. We were like, hey, we should start writing and video chatting and stuff about what we do and try to inspire people to travel. Like, okay, let's do that. And CP Travels was kind of born out of that. Started as like a blog site, and transformed into video sharing, and actually evolved into a travel company where we took people all around the world, not just planned their trip, but actually went with them on those trips so that they felt more safe and comfortable and didn't have to worry about getting around. So that's CP Travels was. Pandemic stopped all of that because nobody was traveling anywhere, and we weren't really feeling safe about doing that either. But yeah, CP Travels was that, and it was amazing at the time. Just sharing stories on YouTube and writing articles and then helping people plan trips of a lifetime. Just amazing.
Well, when we get back out of this quarantine, hopefully that continues, because I actually wanted to join one of your trips. Your trips look amazing, always. I think that you and Patrick were facilitating. To be honest, you guys are great business partners. You guys always launch something really cool, and it takes a little time to develop, but it's actually always worth it. It's always worth it. You guys always put a great effort into it. So the pictures, the videos, the crowdsourcing, everything was really cool about CP Travels, and I hope it makes its return along with everybody else with the pandemic. Oh damn, I forgot that I unplugged my damn laptop. I was like, let me stop freaking having it plugged in all the time so it doesn't get too depleted.
Yeah, better.
All right, so let's talk about your podcast, the main podcast, the flagship podcast, because yes, we do one together and we're developing another one, but the one that started it all, your baby, your firstborn, the best actually. It's a really good podcast. I love it. It gives a perspective of a person that is repatriated somewhere else, and whatever you talk about always encompasses that. Always how does it affect someone like me that has repatriated somewhere? Go ahead, tell us more about it.
Yeah, the Black Expat, again, initially started, there's always a story behind everything that I start. Sorry, Gal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's okay. You're a great storyteller. We want to hear that.
But I wrote my first book, The Unexpected Perspective, and I finished that. And that was basically how I ended up going from DePaul University, where we both went to school, and then ended up in Taiwan. That journey from high school into university and then out of university to Taiwan, year one. Then I was trying to write my second book, and I was like, man, I'm getting writer's block. I'm not a natural born writer. It's not what I'm the best at. So I'm like, all right, how can I get my story out and inspire me to write, but, without actually having to put pen to paper? And I was like, you know what, let me just talk about it. And then I was doing so many great things, and I was like, and amazing opportunities. I was like, hey, I want to share these things. How can I do that? So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to podcast. And my podcast just started with me just sharing my own personal story, right? How I got to Taiwan, what I was going through, my experiences, et cetera, et cetera. But then I realized people were actually starting to listen to it, because it was back before the social media boom. people were liking it and starting to follow. And I was like, hey, what do you guys want to hear more of? And I was like, hey, we need more experiences from different people, more perspectives about what it's actually like living as an expat, what trials and tribulations do you go through, what is the best part about being abroad, et cetera, et cetera. So it actually expanded to being not just my experiences, but how my experiences impacted me, impacted others, and how that relates to my perspective on the world, things like that. So now I talk about a variety of different topics. I've interviewed people from famous magazines. I've done people who've developed and produced their own Amazon TV series of Black families living abroad. I've had some pretty dope interviews. So I've interviewed people from Keep Up. So it's been really, really dope, the scope in which I'm able to fit people that I interview and also my own stories into what it means to be a Black expat, because it's not just about living in another country. It's about the impact you have and the perspectives that you have and have found and have created, based on your experiences. So, I love it. I love talking about things, as you guys probably tell. I also love the amazing interviews and the people that I impact through the stories that I share, through the opportunities that I present and am presented with as well.
Yes. I'm glad that it's all that nuance. When did you start? When was your official launch date? And what did you plan for that launch date, or did you just say? Because I had an initial launch date, even with the seasons. To be honest, even I go, season 3 is going to premiere, and it always gets pushed back, blah blah blah. And one of my friends just said, "Yo, fuck it, man. Just bring it out, man. Just bring it out. Stop giving all these expectations. Just bring it out." So how was your launch?
Yeah, and the thing is, I didn't really, when I first got into it, I didn't see it going, I didn't see my podcast developing the way that it has. I just officially got into once I realized how popular it was becoming, I got more into producing it in a different way. I've always been serious about it because it's my story being shared and aired all over the world, right? But I officially launched in November of 2017, but it wasn't like a build up to it again. Social media, 2016, social media just wasn't the same way as it is now, where you had to do all those things. It was just like, hey guys, sharing my story in a different way. You guys don't read and listen to me talk about it. But then, as year 1 went by, I invested in a better microphone. Year 2 went by, I studied editing. Year 3 went by, I started getting guests to come on. I built it up that way. Then year 4, it's like, damn, you have a pretty decent following. You have a lot of growth potential. You love doing it. You want it to be your full-time job. It's now your passion that you didn't even know was a passion. Now it's time to take it to that next level. And then now, year 4 saw that growth, and year 5 is all about making it a business. Now I'm fundraising to get better with my production and hire people to actually edit the shows. And each show to edit costs $250 if I want to edit it the way that I need it to be edited, right? Fundraising for that, and then also for continuing to work with the charities I work with and the mentor groups that I work with as a result of the podcast, and then the Black-owned business that I have as a result of the podcast as well. So there's a lot of fundraising going on because of COVID, and also just because, trying to make it a full-time business just to get started and get my feet off the ground and then kind of go from there. But yeah, that's kind of how the evolution of it happened. And when I launched from November 2016 to now, every year has been a different leveling up in a different way.
Fuck yeah, man. I love leveling up, and you do it all the time. You're very good at it. Let's talk about catch up real quick. We are trying to mix the best of both worlds. We're trying to take the best parts of Keep Up, and we're trying to take the best parts of the Black expat experience. I'm trying to roll over Patrick Springer somewhere around there. Do you actually, that's a good question. Do you produce some of Patrick's work too? Is that I know that he helps you out a little bit. Are you guys partners in that way too? Like Adam McKay and Will Ferrell, do you guys produce each other's work?
No, I think the podcast we used to have, we would work together on that, just producing it together. But it's always important because we do so many things together to keep something separate. So he's a tech guy, so he has no problem with producing his bartending stuff that he does. But the bar is ours. So the idea we kind of came up, he was doing something. I was like, hey, he was actually just making drinks at the bar. He's like, yeah, I like doing it. It's like, you know what? And I told him, I said, you should do this as a profession. Like, you like talking to people. You have all the time in the world with COVID and you own a bar. Just take this and make it an online business. And that's exactly what he did. So our collaborations, like, we always get inspiration from one another, but we kind of fit that way where it's like, I'll have this big idea and he'll talk me down to the realistic thing, and I'll do the same for him. And then things that I don't know how to do, I can always go to him for that resource, and vice versa. Like, I'm great with numbers. Patrick can't count past 15. So, like, it's just little things like that. And I'm terrible with technology. He can figure things out in 2 minutes. That takes me 50 minutes. So that's just like the dichotomy that we have. But with this new work that we do, because I took the podcast so personally, I made it a point to learn from him so I can do it on my own and take it to the next level without having that, like, dependent on him, because he ended up doing something on his own. And I didn't want to kind of take away from that.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Having partners and having people that are trying to make any project. It doesn't matter if it's just one person. It doesn't matter if it's like 10 people. It's stressful. It's stressful. Yeah, now I have a whole new respect for Cisco and Drew Hill, man. God damn, man. How long did it take for fucking Cisco to realize I need to leave Nokia alone, man. I need to get the hell out of here, man. Him and fucking Destiny's Child, they need to go have some babies and get the fuck out of here. Anyway, what are, I know that you've been doing some crowdsourcing. You're trying to up the level of the game of the podcast. What is on the horizon? What do you see for yourself?
Sorry about that.
Do you want to be? I know that you want to podcast full time, just like me. I would love to podcast full time, and I do believe that both of us will get there, actually, especially with each other's help, with each other's network. But I know one of my goals is to be like a Happy Meal toy with my voiceover. Even if I do podcasting, even if I do other content creation, that's one of the ways that I know that I've made it in the game. What's something that you would see that you would say to yourself, damn, like, I still got work to do, but I made it?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think, like you said, when I'm working toward with the podcast, I do want it to be like, it will become my full-time job. Not I want it to be. It will become my full-time job. Like, my ultimate goal is to have my own radio show, and I think I do a little bit of that. But that's why I started doing live broadcasts, to get used to talking and being on the microphone and behind the microphone around there, in live time, and not having the safety net, which is editing, post-production edits, and post-production changing what you said. And that's really helped me become a better interviewer, a better speaker, and a better on-air personality, if you will. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, again, I'm connected. I'm helping I realize my podcast does help people in a lot of different ways. Like, just talking about the expat experience and sharing opportunities in other countries is helpful for people to hear, like, what you can do in other places around the world. And I want to continue with that. And the way in which I can connect people being an expat for so long, but still being relatively young, is also a good thing. But the older I get, the more information I'm able to share, and the more people I'm able to connect with. So the end goal is to have my podcast be my full-time business, have sponsorships and have ads going out, because that's how you make revenue, as we all know, but also just being able to host in different cities and different countries, connect people from all over the world, and then eventually have my own radio show that I just do maybe daily. I hop on for 30 minutes, talk to you guys, or once or twice a week. I want to produce things that way, and then being able to just, again, have amazing interviews with amazing people, but then do it full-time, like it being my life, similar to what it is now, except getting paid a lot more money, hopefully, to be able to really do it full time.
Again, I'm rooting for you. I want to hear you more. I love your voice. A lot of people comment on my voice, but I actually think your voice is way better and richer. And yeah, man, I'm the quality voice out there, man. Taiwan does not know what they have out there, man. And we're going to give you a little sneak peek of something that I've been thinking of. And again, I love when Carl's a genius in my mind. So we're going to develop a lot of shit together. But one of the things we're thinking of is letting an audience out there rant. There's a lot of people that like to get let off steam. And we all can't afford a therapist. And sometimes people just want to fucking let loose. They don't got a pillow to scream into and shit like that. So they can scream at us. So we're thinking about either 15 seconds, somebody submit something, but we're going to be kind of like an American Idol panel. We're going to be like, that was a good rant. Or we're going to try to solve it. We're going to try to help them with it. We're going to be like, well, we see why you're upset. Or we just think they're fucking crazy. We're like, damn, dog, you need help. So that's something that might be in the works. Yeah, man. Am I missing anything, Carl?
No, I mean, I'm just really excited about just more opportunities to collaborate. I think collaboration is the best part of podcasting. Again, when it becomes my full-time job where I'm getting a decent amount of income, either through fundraising, through ads, through just connections, be able to do that more often. But, when you produce and edit your own podcast, it takes time. But I'm just happy to have Black-owned bar out here in Taiwan, still working to building up the podcast and just the great collaborations we have on the horizon. I'm just excited for what 2021 has to offer. 2020, for all its bad, definitely saw me put more energy into my podcast. And then 2021 is just the year of first, right? First big sponsorship, first big partnership, and just first big amazing things we're able to do in the community through podcasting and more. Yeah, and also just thanks for having me on. I really appreciate being on the show. I mean, it was great topics and great conversation as always, and just an overall good time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I love when people have fun, man, because that's probably the number one goal of this damn show, because we're doing it for free. So if it's not fun, man, gotta get the fuck out of here. But yeah, we are gonna get the fuck out of here. And as a matter of fact, if anybody in my audience has known, I have actually been fucking up the outro, so I'm gonna try to do it well this time. Let's try to do it. All right, Carl, where can we find you, and where do you not want us to find you? Because that's where we're going to look.
Yeah, look. Well, don't find me everywhere. Instagram, the Black_expat, same as Twitter, the Black_expat. Facebook, the Black Expat Podcast 23. Medium, my YouTube channel. Actually, yeah, that's actually new. Something I just started. I'm 38 episodes in, and I love doing it. But that's the Black Expat Podcast on YouTube. All right, on Medium, and then become a patron on the Podbean podcast app, or any links where you can find my podcast, which is everywhere on every podcasting platform. We're finally everywhere. So if you find it on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Flickr, all that stuff, you can find my podcast there. And then the link in all of my descriptions is my Patreon. If you want to donate, I'm looking to actually get 1,000 people to donate become a $1 patron of the podcast, because that will help me improve my production and also start mentoring another one podcaster a month. I want to dedicate it to one up-and-coming podcast from a university. I'm working on a partnership with a few universities to actually get them in it, and work on them on their delivery, on how to do interviews. Then also do one episode with me where they actually take over the Black Expat Podcast and produce their own show where they get to interview an expat. But in order to do that, I need funds, so I'm fundraising for that. The goal for that is, honestly, it's a lot, but it's $20,000, because not for me, I want to pay them. I want it to be a paid experience with someone who's been podcasting for a lot of times, but then also connecting with every podcaster I know, like you, but also giving them a chance to interview and do amazing things. An opportunity that I would love to have had when I was thinking about, podcasting, you know what I mean? So trying to get $20,000 for that, partnering with our alma mater, Paul University, hopefully still working on signing that paper, but applying pressure, and then one other HBCU back in the States. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Good, man. Damn, man. Again, you always make me want to step in my game, because you got so much going on. You had been potting for a little while longer, so I can't try to stack myself up too much. But yeah. So you can find us together too. Actually, you can find us on the catch up program. We're gonna try to relaunch that again very soon. Like I said, where it brings East meets West. We try to find relevant topics that connect with the expat in the Taiwan area, in the South Asia region. And it's actually ever developing too, so we might even change it a little bit later. We might tinker around, but that's what it's going to be focused on. And you can catch us on Keep Up. You can catch me on Keep Up NYC, where you can find this episode on the Instagram. You can get on Keep Up NY and follow crazy tweets from the show or any updates in pop culture. You can get on our Patreons. You can get on Keep Up NY for my Patreon, Black Expat for his Patreon. Be a patron on Podbean. We're on Podbean. We're on Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Any DSP you want. And we're also on YouTube. Catch the shout out that he did for Patrick Springer. Catch the Black Expats YouTube channel, please. It's good content right there. And if you're in the Taiwan area, go frequent Arts and Craft Bar. If you want a nice shot and a good drink with some cool bartenders. Here we go. Right? Here we are. Here we go. You better shut the fuck up, listen up, and keep up. I did it right. I did it right. Keep up. With my man Carl, the Black Expat. It's still insane. Over and out. Homies.